Good morning students, welcome back to microprocessor and microcontroller online class. I hope you done the exams well, and in continuation to the previous classes I am going to talk about the one particular important topic in the microprocessor and microcontroller, that is called DMA controller. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access. In the previous classes, we have studied the various peripheral devices like 8255. 8255 is a programmable peripheral interface which can be used to interface the input-output devices with the 8085 or 8086 microprocessor. To achieve the compatibility between the processor and the input-output devices, we can have the interfacing devices. The complete third unit is dealing the interfacing devices of the 8086 microprocessor and the 8085 microprocessor. In this lecture, I am going to talk about the another important interfacing device, that is called a DMA controller. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access. That means what? We know that the microprocessor is a multitasking integrated circuit, so that the various input-output devices can interface with the microprocessor at a time, so that during that many input-output devices are connected to the microprocessor at a time, there is the mismatch of the speed between the processor and the input-output devices, and between the input-output devices also there is a mismatch of the speed data transfer rate between the processor and input-output devices and the memory and input-output devices. So that to avoid that problem, we are making use of the one integrated circuit that is called DMA controller. The present topic is DMA controller. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access. We have been getting this DMA controller in the form of integrated circuit. Intel has been producing this integrated circuit in the form of an IC with the IC number is 8257. Intel has been producing the integrated circuit, that is DMA. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access, and it is an integrated circuit. It is a programmable integrated circuit. According to the user program, it is going to perform the function, so that it is a DMA controller. It is a programmable integrated circuit which has been fabricating by the Intel organization. Then we are going with the very important things in the DMA controller. What is the necessity to go for the DMA controller? For example, the processor is interfaced with the some input-output devices. That means what? The processor is interfaced with the memory and the input-output devices. For example, the input-output devices wanted to access the data from the memory, so that it has to request the processor, so that processor is going to identify the address location in the memory, and from that address location the processor is going to read the data, and that data will be given to the input-output device. This much time is taking to take the data from the memory by the input-output devices. So by making use of the DMA controller, what we are doing, we are not, without involving the processor, the input-output devices directly can access the data from the memory. So that the name suggesting that it is a DMA. DMA stands for Direct Memory Access. That means what? The memory can be directly accessed by the input-output device without having the involvement of the processor. By using this integrated circuit, by using this programmable integrated circuit, that is DMA IC 8257, the memory location can be directly accessed by the input-output devices without involvement of the processor. That is the main objective of the DMA controller. That means what? Without involvement of the processor, the input output devices directly access the data from the memory using an integrated circuit that is called DMA controller, direct memory access controller. We have been getting this DMA controller in the form of integrated circuit, which has been produced by the producing by the Intel organization, that is with the number 8257. So that I am going with the very important things about the DMA controller. The DMA controller, it is going to control the data transfer between the memory and the input output devices. For example, this is a processor, it has connected with the one memory and one input output devices. If the input output device is wanted to read the data from the memory, it has to request the processor, so that the processor has to stop the current execution, and it has to serve that request, so that it based on the input output request, it is going to identify the memory location. From that memory location, it is going to read the data and it will be given to the input output devices. This much operation is needed if the input output devices wanted the data from the memory. By using the DMA controller, this input output devices directly access the data without having the involvement of the processor. That is the main objective of the DMA controller, so that it is not only allows the input output devices to access the data, it is also controls the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory. It is also controls the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory. The first objective of the DMA controller, that is direct memory access, is it is going to control the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory. DMA stands for direct memory access without involvement of the processor. The DMA controller allows the input output devices to access the data from the memory. That means it is not only allowing the accessing of the data from the memory, it is also controls the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory. And again, this DMA controller generates the address signals and the control signals. That means what? From which location the input output devices has to read the data, or from which location it has to write the data into the memory, and it can that DMA controller generate the address signals, and after reading or after writing the data into the memory, again that has to come back, so that it requires to generate the control signal, so that the DMA controller specifically it is going to allow the input output devices to access the memory, and again it going to control the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory, and again the DMA controller is going to generate the address signals and the control signals for the data transfer between the input output devices and the memory. So that what the operation is involved in the complete phenomenon, this DMA controller, DMA is nothing but is a direct memory access. It is an integrated circuit. It is connected with the processor, so that it requests the processor. CPU is nothing but it is a processor only. The DMA controller requests the CPU, so that it holds the current operation, so that based on that request, and it will give the grant permission to make use of the system bus. The system bus involves what? System bus is nothing but it is a control bus and the control bus, address bus, and the data bus, so that will be given to the DMA controller, so that DMA controller will allows the input output devices to have the accessing of the memory by making use of that data bus. So that this complete statement is describing the operation of the DMA controller. DMA controller requests the processor, so that it holds the current operation, and it holds the current operation that is based on the request. That is, after taking that request, it is going to give the system bus to the DMA controller by using the another pin, that is nothing but it is a grant whenever we will be having a request and grant, and that means what the microprocessor has been operating in the maximum mode of operation. In the first unit we have discussed that the microprocessor can be operated in the minimum mode of operation and the maximum mode of operation, and in the minimum mode of operation only one processor is needed to accomplish the work, whereas in the maximum mode of operation more than one processors are needed and they have to be interfaced together, then only the specific work can be accomplished, so that is the maximum mode of operation. In such cases all the input output devices and the DMA controller is also interfaced with the processor, so that it is called, it is a maximum mode of operation. DMA controller is also a processor, it also acts as a processor, so that it is DMA controller is interfaced with the 8086 microprocessor, so that more than one processor has been using, so that it is named as maximum mode of operation. And here this DMA controller can be operated, DMA controller can be operated in the 3 state, DMA controller can be operated in the 3 states, that is ideal state, next one is a slave state, and then one a master state. Master state is nothing but the DMA controller is going to have the control over the system bus of the 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor. In such case we can call it is a master that can be operated in the 3 states, that is a master state. That means what? DMA controller has the complete accessing of that system bus, so that it is acting as a it is acting as a master state. In case of slave state, in case of slave state, microprocessor initializes the DMA controller. That means what? In the slave state the processor is going to initialize the DMA controller, such that the DMA controller is going to make use the system bus of that 8086 microprocessor or 8085 microprocessor. In case of ideal one, the DMA controller cannot be used by the processor. In case of ideal state, the DMA controller cannot be used by the processor. In case of slave state, the microprocessor is going to initialize the DMA controller, such that DMA controller is going to take the system bus. Whenever the DMA controller is going to borrow the system bus from the microprocessor, then that state is named as it is a master state, so that the DMA controller can be operates in the 3 state. First state is ideal state. That means what? That processor is not going to make use of the DMA controller. Slave state is nothing but the processor is going to initialize the DMA controller, in which the master state, the DMA controller is going to have the complete authority on the system bus. That includes the data bus, address bus, and the control bus. Coming to the features of 8257 Intel DMA controller. DMA stands for direct memory accessing. That means what? By using DMA controller, the memory can be directly accessed for the input output devices to read the data and write the data. And coming to here the features of 8257, that is DMA controller. As I said earlier, it is a 40-pin integrated circuit. It is a programmable integrated circuit. It has been fabricating by the Intel Corporation, that is with the 40-pin, and the IC number is about 8257, whereas 8255 is a programmable peripheral interface. Coming to the first very important feature of this particular 8257, it is a programmable integrated circuit. It can have the 4 channels. It is a programmable integrated circuit. It is a programmable integrated circuit. It is having the 4 channel, and it is a 4 channel DMA controller. 4 channel DMA controller. Each channel is having the 16-bit DMA address register, 14-bit counter. Each channel. That means what? Here it is having the 4 channels, so that 4 input output devices can be interfaced with the 8257. Here it is a 40-pin integrated circuit, and it is a programmable IC, and it is having the 4 channel input output devices. That means what? 4 channel DMA controller. It is a 4 channel DMA controller, so that 4 input output devices can be interfaced at a time with the 8257 DMA controller. Each channel is having the 16-bit DMA address register and 16-bit counter. This 16-bit address register is going to define the one particular memory location in the memory. That means we know that the 8086 microprocessor can have the maximum of 1 megabyte of memory, that is 2 power of 16 bytes, that is 1 megabyte of memory that can access. Each memory location can be identified by the 16-bit address, and that 16-bit address will be given by the 16-bit DMA address register. That means what? This DMA register that is with the 16-bit void, it is going to hold the address of that particular memory location. From that memory location, either input output devices can read the data into that 16-bit address location. That input output device is going to write the data, so that it is having the 4 channels, so that 4 input output devices can be interfaced at a time, and each channel is having the 16-bit DMA address register, so that it is going to specify the one particular address location in the memory, and from that memory either input output devices can read the data or write the data. And it is having the 14-bit counter. It can transfer by using the 14-bit counter, and the maximum of it can transfer 2 power of 14 bytes. That means what? DMA controller allows us each channel to transfer the 2 power of 14 bytes of data between the input output devices and the memory. Then that is, it can be operated with the two condition, that is by making use of the priority logic, because the 4 input output devices can be interfaced at a time, so that based on the priority logic one can be served at a time. So that based on the priority logic, that means what? If you are having the logic is with the fixed one, so that if we complete the one input output devices for the transferring of data, then only it look after the another one. And if you go with the rotating one based on the priority rotating, then whichever input output device is having the more priority, that will be served first. In serving is nothing but the data that will be allowed the data transfer between that particular channel to that particular channel to the memory. So that based on the priority logic, each can going to give the one particular channel to allow the to access the memory without involvement of the processor, so that DMA controller allows the data transfer in the two modes, that is burst mode and cycle steal mode. And burst mode and the cycle steal mode we are going to discuss in the coming class. And coming to the next one, the another important feature of the 8257, it is compatible for the TTL. We know that transistor transfer logic. That means what? Whenever an integrated circuit is made with of TTL, then only it can be compatible with the 8257. If the integrated circuit is made with other IC technologies like VLSI or CMOS technology, it can't be compatible with the 8257. So that in order to make the proper interfacing, in order to have the proper compatibility between the 8257 and the input output devices, that input output devices must be fabricated with the logic that is called TTL, transistor transfer logic, and it can transfer the 500 kilobytes in 1 second. That means what? The mainly DMA controller allows the data transfer between the memory and input output devices. The maximum rate of data transfer, that is about 500 kilobytes in 1 second. That means what? The DMA controller will give the system burst to the input output devices to access the data from the memory or into the memory at a rate of 500 kilobytes in 1 second at the clock frequency, input clock frequency, that is 2 megahertz clock frequency, whereas in the clock frequency of 8085 microprocessor and 8086 microprocessor, that is about 5 megahertz as clock frequency, whereas here 8257, that is DMA controller, is operating at the input clock frequency, that is about 2 megahertz frequency. And with this, the introduction and the features of 8257 is completed. In tomorrow class, I am going to talk about the DMA controller architecture. I am going to explain the complete details by using the architecture and the block diagram. and we are going to study the modes of operation of the DMA controller and how that is directly going to give the accessing for the input output devices of the memory, and in tomorrow class we are going to discuss in detail. Thank you student, thank you very much.